Oh,
Hey,
that's
you
what I
know
got.
square root of 2.
But you have to.
And then you have to break it down.
And you have to break it down.
So we got it wrong?
You have to break it down.
Dog,
Is 100
darn
right?
it. Charge me like that.
Break it down.
Why you like, why you did that?
Oh,
Is
Feels
it
so
5
good
squares
to
or
let
6
that
or
shit
I bet
10
Iron
squares
Man's
is 2.
mad.
What? If the square root is 200, so it's 10
this
squares.
summer, did you watch Iron Man?
I don't know. Shh. Because
Better
you
than
know
Rocky.
Yeah, we're smarter than everybody.
Show me that.
It is the square root of 200. Now 200 is 2 times 100. 100 is a perfect
10
square.
radical 2.
I can take the square root of 100. But 2 is not a perfect square, so it remains under the radical.
I broke down 100
Oh, so
like
that's how
2
you do
times 50.
I
And
can do it
25 times.
Don't forget, on my website, I have a link to practicing with radicals.
I hate radicals.
That will help you.
radical.
All right. Shh.
Why you
You got better. It's just on. Yeah, do it.
square
Do it.
root? Yeah.
And you sell hot chicks.
All right. Shh. Equation of a circle. The equation of a circle, everybody hush,
What?
also stems from the Pythagorean theorem with the same thing. We can draw a right triangle to get the essential ingredients of a circle. There are 2 very important things that you need to know if you're going to graph a circle. Can somebody tell me what they are?
Radius. Area.
Center point.
The center point. You have to know where to start, right? If we're going to graph on a coordinate plane, we have to know where to start. So we're going to start at the center. And then we have to know how far out to move, so we need to know the radius. And those 2 things are what we are using in the equation of a circle.
Do we have to know what secants are cards? Cards?
No. In a circle where the radius has a value of r, Quentin, P, and the center is an ordered pair with the coordinates, which we're simply going to call A and B right now. The equation is now once again, isn't this a lot like the distance formula? Isn't A the x coordinate of something? And B is the y coordinate of something? Okay? The only difference between this and the distance formula is instead of taking the square root of both sides, I left it like it was. I left both sides alone. Okay? All right, now the difference is in a final equation of a circle, this is going to be an actual number. This is going to be an actual number, as is this, but the letters x and y will still be in the final equation. Just like the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, the y and the x are in the final equation. All right, so we are going to have to know how to look at the equation of a line and identify what is the radius, what is the center. So if I gave you this, and I asked you to identify your radius and the center of your circle, we've got to know what the equation says. And Elizabeth, what do you know?
Your radius is 6 because you have to square whatever that. It's 6 square root of that because that's our square.
Very good. You have to take the square root of this number. Now what if this is not a perfect square?
Good Lord. Then
You have it in radical form. Your radius will be in radical form. Okay, but this is a perfect square.
It's 6.
How you know your radius is 6? Because it's supposed
Oh,
to be
it's
square.
Quentin,
Yeah.
stop paying attention to what's going on in the hallway and pay attention to what's going on the board. Shh. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This number here represents, Quentin, the radius squared.
Oh.
So I take the square root of this number to find the radius. Now, understanding that these components were subtracted from x, the x and the y value of my radius are going to be the opposite signs of whatever these are.
So it'd be like -1.
So it's -1 because I would have to subtract a negative to make this positive, right?
Yes.
+3. So the coordinates of your center are the opposite signs of what you're going to actually see show up in the equation. Because the equation calls for subtraction. This would have been this. And this is this. Okay, now does it make more sense? Okay. Alright, so I'm going to put another equation up here. I want you to identify the radius and the center of this equation of a circle.
Can I do this one, Sam?
Sure.
But the formula's always the same.
Yes.
It is the same.
I didn't even say it like.
5 radical 2.
What are you doing?
She's.
Okay, Quentin, you want this one?
You want it? You want it now?
What is the radius of this circle?
Wait, I know. 5 squares is 2.
Very good.
Because I like.
I was
I
gonna
knew
say
it's 2
that.
times
How is she
25,
quitting?
I was gonna say that.
Shh. Okay, now Quentin. Come on, mister, I was going to say that.
Okay, 0
0 for x, very good.
minus 2.
-2.
Wait, how's it 0?
Because if there's nothing else with the x, then it means that nothing was subtracted from it.
And 0 squared. is
Okay?
I thought she forgot to write the number, Troy. You didn't have to do it.
Makes sense.
And here, we take the opposite sign of 2 because since the equation is subtraction, we had to subtract a negative to get that like it was. All right. Does everybody understand this?
Yes.
No.
Let's make a movie now.
Okay. You are also going to be given the center of a circle
Yeah, it's fine already.
and the radius.
And then we have to find everything else.
And you have to come up with the equation. I'm going to
Can I-
put 2 up here.
Can I come up with the equation? Ooh, me.
Troy, be quiet.
You doing 2 of them?
Oh,
Yeah.
Can I do the first one? I'll do the first one. I can do the second one. Which one?
Okay, are y'all like coming up with it?
Oh,
Or you
no.
just-
Oh, I have it in my head. I have it.
Wait. For
This
the
is all
radius,
daydreaming.
How do you figure that out?
Can I do the first one?
You have to
I want to do the
square
first one.
this, which you're going to square
You
the whole
square-
number.
Okay.
And when you square the radical,
You
Takes
just
away.
time.
it becomes times 2.
Oh.
Low.
So, that's it.
I can do it in my head. But
Oh,
Should be able to do it in your
I
head.
know the first one.
Okay, Quentin, what's the first one? What's your radius squared?
18
18 is correct.
equals x minus 0
Do I have to put minus
No,
0?
it's
so
x
just
squared.
square it.
plus x
What
squared.
did it 18?
Plus y
Y
squared.
squared.
That's what I'm.
Wait, how do you, wait.
Okay, perfect.
What is it?
Now, the question is,
Oh, yeah.
how to get 18? All right, focus here. Can you see? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see.
3 square roots of 2 squared.
I can see it.
So,
3 times 3 is 9.
oh, so 9.
Time by
3 squared is 9. Square root of 2 squared is 2. Multiply that together.
Square root of 2 is
Oh,
4.
I got it, I got
and
it.
4 times 2.
Okay? And 9 times 2 is 18. Okay?
Let's make it
Um,